Hello, my name is Diversai, and today we're doing the Day 4 recap for the new player's guide. So today was Sunday, or yesterday I guess, because we're past midnight, and I had a lot of free time, so I did a lot of adventures. The goal here was to unlock nightmares and then do the at least 4.5 star nightmare portal for the gold vault, and ideally the 5.5 star nightmare portal, but it took me so long to get the legend points that I needed that I actually wasn't able to do that, because apparently the quests are set at 1 a.m. I thought they were set sometime around like 4 a.m. I was wrong, and so I just missed out on that, and the quests are set. Also, when you get legend level 15, if you don't restart your game, these quests don't show up, and if these quests don't show up, even if you beat the 3-star Nightmare Weekly, you don't unlock nightmares. So, over here, you will see that my nightmares are still locked because I didn't finish that quest, because that quest didn't exist. But I did actually do the third nightmare adventure last week. Or I guess 10 minutes ago, and it just didn't count, so that's the thing. On the bright side though, I have also unlocked the Portal Warrior quest, because your weekly quests don't unlock until I think you're like legend level 2. After quest, legend level 3. It doesn't just give it to you when you unlock that, you have to wait, I guess, the entire week for it to show up. So that is kind of unfortunate, but now we do have it, and we can get another gold vault from that, and some legend points, and that'll all be very nice. In terms of other things we've done, as you can see, we're at 7 of 8 on the weekly quests, or the adventure quests. That is over here. So we've completed portions of like Master of Shadows, Titan of the Depths, Machine Herald, Glorious Executioner, Daughter of the Void, Collector of Souls, Hand of Noxus. Haven't touched the Dragon Slayer yet, but we did do one of the Colossus. And so, yeah, we're making our way through. Can't do Aurelian's Soul yet, he's still locked behind doing more 3.5 star adventures, which I think is just Galio. And so that is where our progress is at there. For constellations, I did unlock the 3-star on Misfortune, Jinx, and Yasuo. I paid many wild fragments to do this, and you can see that on the currencies tab on the spreadsheet. And the reason I did so was because we're just kind of making these our mainstays. So a lot of the requirements are do 3 of a thing, so you need 3 champions. If you get different champions, that's probably fine, that you can 3-star. As you can see, we're getting pretty close on Volibear over here. He's doing pretty good. Nami, we actually got some extra fragments on too. So we have 20 fragments, which is nice because we do want to be using Nami. She's a great Bilgewater. We kind of need Chemtech Duplicator before that really works out, and we don't have that yet, so that's where we're at there. And then we did get some like Darius fragments and some Lee Sin fragments, and those are important for the relics to get those. Lee Sin's kind of whatever, but Darius has Crown Guard Inheritance, which is really important. We also need to unlock Aaron at some point so that we can get Loose Cannon's Payload. That makes Jinx, significantly better. Jin's gonna get the 6-star constellation, I think probably Wednesday. I think that's normally the patch day, and when that happens, we'll probably have a battle pass with Jin in it, so we'll be able to get some free fragments. There might be a quest or something too that can give us some extra fragments there as well. We also started getting some Needly fragments, which is nice. We're excited about that. We have gotten some fragments on champions we're not going to use. So like Yumi we're unlikely to use. Poro King, I don't think I would touch if you forced me to. And yeah, I think that's it. Everything else has a purpose. Like if Nautilus ends up at 3 stars, we'll use Nautilus. We do want Morgana up, and yeah, so that's kind of where we're going now. So for the goals that we have, like I said, unfortunately we missed our first goal, which was to unlock nightmare portals in the first week. I only had 4 days, but I played a lot yesterday, so you know, it is what it is though. So we missed probably by 2 hours, honestly, unlocking nightmare portals, but we'll be able to do that this week. So this week our goal is to unlock nightmare portals, do that, get more completions in on the world adventures, and then start branching out into different champions as well. We have 129 fragments. I don't want to use those all on Garen, because it's going to cost 100 to unlock him and get him to 3 stars. You could just get him at 2 stars and hold him there for a little bit, and that would be 60 fragments, and then that would still get us the loose cannons payload. That might be something that we're forced to do, but we're going to try to get as many free sources of fragments first, because we don't want to spend wild shards where we could get the fragments anyway. So for example, I unlocked Misfortune and just immediately got her 3 stars because I knew that I was gonna have to use her to do a lot of things, and her campaign gives you Steel Tempest, or not Steel Tempest, Tempest Blade relic that you use on Yasuo. It makes Yasuo incredible, so like you need that. You want that early, and so the way to get that was to do Misfortune's 2-star campaign, and that's a lot easier if she's 3 stars, because there's a mutator where like the first unit you play gets stunned, and it's just kind of like a mean adventure. So it's just easier, and then you also, you know, need 3 champions, like I said earlier. So I figured I just want her to be 3 stars, so I'm not wasting time struggling at 2 stars. Even if you could do it at 2 stars, you know, it's better if you have it at 3 stars. So I spent fragments and then immediately got fragments, which isn't terrible. Like, we don't hate Misfortune, so if we end up with enough fragments to get her to 4 stars, or, you know, get some of her stars, her bonus stars, that's fine. So it's not a waste, and that's kind of how you want to be thinking about spending your resources too. Is this going to be a waste for you, or is this going to be something that you're going to use forever? And if you get a little bit extra, that's great, actually. So in tips, remember to be checking your store often. So we had initially, for the relic that we could buy, it was the Golden Spatula. Now it's Banshee's Veil. I think before this timer ends, I will probably buy it if I haven't gotten it from a different source, because it's cheap. I believe you can only have one of them. Yeah, there is a max quantity of 1, so it'll never show up again, and it's pretty useful, and it only costs 300 Stardust. We were up to 1800. Obviously we want to have 3000 for the Golden Reliquary, but we have 3 weeks to do that, and we should more than finish that off, especially considering that we have unlocked monthly challenges, which obviously would be hard for us to do right now. We don't want to waste our good champions, things that we can use later down the line, on the early adventures, but they're... I think there's not Cosmic Stardust? Maybe your Aurelian Soul Fragments turn into Stardust? I feel like I have a lot of Stardust that came from monthly adventures. I guess it's probably from the Aurelian Soul Fragments. But maybe I have less Stardust than I think. But we should have more than enough to get the Golden Reliquary. And so spending 300, I'm not super worried about. In some of the quests, we do have more sources of Stardust, so it should be fine. Not super concerned about it. Switching to our spreadsheet, and I have some Misfortune versus Daughter of the Void up on the screen. I do lose this game, but you can see I found 2 explosive finales. So I was kind of working towards just drafting items that would be able to kill creatures out of combat, so that I could just do extra damage. I did end up with a very low life because of something, I can't remember what exactly. I think it was the node that gives you the power, so I do end up losing this game, but I win it in the next after the revive. Anyway, so for adventures, I did add an adventures by day column. I haven't updated this for day 4 yet, but this is where I'll say like what day I beat the adventure on and then for which requirement. So our any requirement was Jinx, and we did that on day 1. Any requirement was Yasuo, did it on day 2, things like that. For our quests, I'm again adding as we go along. So you can complete Chapter 5 quests before you complete all of the Chapter 4 quests, and so that's just a thing that happens. So I have listed some of the Chapter 5, but not all of them because I don't know what all of them are. I could look it up from the progression tab of the wiki, but I don't know, it's more fun to do it the other way. So I'm doing it that way. Let's see, where are we? So yeah, so I've just added that, and then again we're keeping account of what day we completed these on, so that we have an idea of the order. I didn't say what day I did here, since it's off to the side. I just forgot that that was there, but that's fine. I think this was also day 4. And then for things to do, that you can see here on day 4, we did 24 things. Some of those were just unlocking, so like I did some Lux, then I unlocked Misfortune, did a bunch of Misfortune. I had to end up swapping to Yasuo and Jinx again as we were progressing through the adventures, so that we could get those 3 requirements out to unlock even more things. You can see here that I'm trying to unlock the 2.5 stars, and then I just needed LP, so I started just going through as many of these as I could to get the legend points that I needed to get to legend level 15. And again, I didn't do that fast enough, and I don't know that there was a better way I could have done that, because I think I just ran out of real life time. I would have had to sacrifice something that I was doing in real life to do that, and you shouldn't do that for a video game. Just, you know, if have breakfast with your significant other or your family or something, maybe that costs you an hour and a half of your day, still worth it over playing a video game. And I highly value video games, obviously, but yeah. And then for currencies, this is our list. I haven't updated this side with all the ones we've gotten. Not entirely sure how I want to handle this, but I think I like the spend and I like the acquisition. I don't think this notes column is doing anything either, but it's something we can worry about later. And this is just like a running total of all of them that we got. So we've had 289 wild shards in total so far, and obviously we've spent some of them here. But I like how this list is shaping up. It tells you kind of where I'm focused on spending things, what I feel is worth the wild fragments, and then also like, I don't know, I think it's just a good view of what champions are important. In the notes section, I have started adding champion specific notes. So like Jinx, when you're playing, you want to be focused on killing your opponent's units, because your Nexus damage is just going to come from your star powers. You don't really have to worry about it. For Jinx, also Riptide Barrier triggers off the plunger from playing Jinx. So you do the damage and then Riptide Barrier goes off. So you don't have to play anything ahead of time in order to trigger that. And then just general powers that are good, like Misfortune, Yip's Genius is really good. Raiding Party is honestly like better than I thought it was, because you do a lot of ping damage, and so you can get like 16 power units in round 3. It's kind of crazy. Healing in general is something that I guess my video was done. Healing in general is something that I've generally underrated, I think, because as your champions get more powerful, then you need less healing, but early on it's really good. And then obviously for Yasuo, get supports that with stun powers, and then also like hold it is a great power. And then I did Trendemir with Jinx. I actually think it might be easier to do Trendemir with Jinx at 2 stars than 3 stars, because at 2 stars you're not going to deal damage to the units every time you play a card. And then at 3 stars you do, so you trigger all sorts of things on Trendemir. You could reroll for Enfeebling Strike from the first node that comes up as a common power, even though it's a rare power now, and then every damage you do will reduce their power so that you don't get dead. But you can also focus on elusives. You do have the 2 amateur aeronauts, which, you know, I don't really love, but they do hit the enemy nexus without going through the units, which you're making huge, so that's kind of nice. You could also, you know, unlock Garen, get loose cannons payload, and then probably nothing matters, because you'll have a bunch of the spell pow to remove all the units, and then you would be fine. And I might have just gotten unlucky, and because the second time I did it, it was super easy and there were no problems at all. So, who knows. But it felt pretty bad the first time. Champions, I did start to add what relics I'm using on them at the time, so that you kind of have an idea of what to do if you have bad relics. I did get Chameleon's Necklace early, and Chameleon's Necklace I actually like a lot, because one of your problems that you're going to run into is not drawing your champions, especially before level 20 where you can't draw your champions. So, or you don't force draw a champion in your starting hand, and you, especially with something like Yasuo, you need Yasuo on the board or you lose the game. So I like Chameleon's Necklace. I did pick up Everfrost on this account. My other free-to-play account does not have Everfrost and is further progressed, so I don't know what happened there. But we got Everfrost here, which is really nice on Yasuo. We do have 0 Guardian Angel, and that's one of my favorite relics to use. So not having that does make me pretty sad, but we got some okay things. So we found 2 Dreadway Chase Guns. I didn't write down the other one. That's not good. I don't know where it came from either. So I do have 2 Dreadway Chase Guns though. I have to think about this. Which is nice. I'm gonna put big question mark there. Okay, that's a good solve. But I do have 2 Dreadway Chase Guns. That'll be good if we end up getting like Annie. There are probably some other places we can use it. I don't think it's super strong in like a speedrun scenario, but it is kind of good in some ways on some champions, so I don't hate that I got it. Guardian's Orb is also a nice one. But we haven't gotten any of like the really important stuff. I guess Corrupted Star Fragment is pretty good. Especially if we lean into Needly, having Corrupted Star Fragment I think basically completes the set. We also haven't found Lost Chapter yet. That one's really important for a few things, and we haven't found Chemtech Duplicator, which is something else that we're really hoping to find at some point. You have Utmost Despair and Wicked Harvest, so I think you can do some weird things with Ari, and that probably lets us beat Swain. If we do find Lost Chapter at some point, we do need to find Lost Chapter. That's really important. And hopefully we will this week. But we won't have to worry about like Swain or Lysandra until probably like 2 weeks from now. We're on May 5th today, and we have until the 31st, so there's not a huge rush. The biggest rush was getting to unlock Nightmare Adventures, and we didn't, but we'll do it this week, so more or less we only missed out on 20 champion fragments, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Not great, but it isn't the worst thing in the world. And that is all for our day 4 recap. We did quite a lot of things today. Mostly just adventures, doing unlocks, getting legend points, and as part of that we just get a lot of fragments, which we're going to use at some point later. So our total fragment gain was 471 fragments today. That's pretty good. I mean, obviously they're spread out across a bunch of champions, so that's not fully usable yet. But you need to get them from somewhere at some time. So, yeah, that is day 4. I suspect tomorrow won't be as productive because I have to do work. And so maybe I won't do a video tomorrow, but probably do one at least on the 6th day. And on day 7, we're going to just do a recap of the full week. So look forward to that. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe. And hopefully this is interesting to you guys. Even if it's not, I'm going to keep doing it because it's interesting to me. But yeah, that is it. Talk to you next time. Goodbye.